Back to Out of the Fog, a transition here, but still very much on the same topic. Ladies and gentlemen, the absolutely wonderful Dr. Janine Hubbard. Dr. Hubbard, thanks for coming here and talking. We did this one time before, but it was like over like Skype or something way back when during COVID.
Yes, that's right, because I knew we'd spoken before, and I've done this here once before, but it's been a long time.
Yes, it's been a number of years now. And obviously a lot has changed in the world and for everybody involved during that period of time. And one of the bright spots that came out of a whole lot of darkness was a little bit of stigma being removed from the fact that we all battle some less fun times, some dark times. And off camera, we were talking about how there's emergent research that is separating things in a way that people might fall into a category that they didn't know existed. And I realize that's really vague, but it's the preamble to make what you're going to say make sense, I hope.
Absolutely. Well, and I think one of the things that we definitely came out of the pandemic was just a normalizing that we all experience unpleasant emotions and feelings, and that it's important to acknowledge them.
I like to think of, so we have our body that does all of these things on its own without us having to think about it doing it, right? And that separates our head and our brain from like the brain or the organ that does these things, and our mind or our consciousness as us being aware of the things that we're doing. And sometimes they're wrong about each other, right? So you can wake up in the middle of the night and your heart is racing and your skin conductivity is such that like you're all on end, and you might have sweaty palms, and you might be like, and those are all physiological response that your body is having, that your brain is a part of, but not necessarily your mind. And in your mind, you decide what you're feeling.
Well, your mind then interprets those.
Exactly. But a lot of these really heavy order emotions or moods sort of have polarized expressions. Like, for instance, if you were really anxious, those are a lot of the same things your body would do if you were really excited, which is why you get, like in sports, real clutch performers, like really big game people. So waking up in the middle of the night and being anxious and can't go back to sleep, you might have been just dreaming about something real risque.
It's all very possible.
That was a lot to lighten the mood. So let's talk about the fact that this is all normal for us to have these sort of feelings.
Absolutely.
But there is also a difference between monitoring your mental health and having a mental illness that might need a slightly larger degree of intervention.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to be mindful of that continuum. And that really exists for almost every classification we have, be that anxiety, it could be OCD, it could be depression, could be a whole lot of things that we all have rough days, we all have periods of time, whether it's because of life circumstances, where, our mood might not be where we'd like it to be. And it's a question of how long does that period go on for, and how badly does that impact your ability to function on a daily basis.
And how often till that cycle comes around again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if it's every February, then there's a predictability to it, and it might have something to do with some life-related situations.
Certainly anyone who has anniversaries of perhaps the loss of loved ones, sometimes they may not even fully realize that it is approaching, but your body's sending you messages, and then you go, oh, right, that's coming up, or that's happening right now. So again, very, very normal, expected, just part of the human condition. It's, like I say, the crossing of the threshold is when it's impacting whether it's your ability to get through a workday, whether it's your sleep, whether it's your relationships, because there's a lot of people out there who can get through that workday, but then that's it for the rest of the day.
They've spent everything
They've spent
have
everything.
on that.
Yeah.
And I like what you said earlier about how your body is telling you something. It's sending you messages, and it's yet to be brought to your awareness. And then when you have that awareness and you recognize it, then you can do something about it. Which, in a lot of ways, and this just came to me, please correct me if I'm almost undoubtedly wrong, that's not really much different than me getting hangry. Because my mood deteriorates, and I'm frustrated, and I can't, I'm not going to do as good a job of the thing I need to do, whether it's talking to you now, or patience with my daughter, or working with a real estate client, or my partner Sam, any of that, if I need to eat something.
Right. What's really interesting, and I'm always careful when we talk about gender differences, but one of the consistent findings that they've discovered is that men are far more likely to present to a physician with physical symptoms that are actually related to underlying depression, whereas women are far more likely to, talk about, well, I've had changes in mood or my focus, or, being kind of more conscious of the, I wonder if I'm depressed. Men are far more likely to go in with gastro issues or stomach issues or headaches or, a whole litany of physical complaints, not realizing that that's actually a symptom or the presentation of their depression.
So as somebody who is naturally drawn to this topic, I currently see wide in front of me this big old rabbit hole that I kind of want to jump into, because I have a thought about what you just said, and I'm not entirely sure we can even get into it, but that difference in presentation to me could very well have this as a contributing factor. Men don't necessarily feel comfortable talking about how they feel, so it's swallowed, and it doesn't get out, and then it manifests into something else because your body doesn't have another way to tell you. Women get told all the time that they're crazy. And so to me, that seems like a way that it could help to present itself in those ways, because there's no communication and no freedom to discuss what you actually think and feel on either side, either because your partner doesn't understand or you don't feel like it's a safe place to do so, that other stuff gets thrown at you and you have no other way to get it out.
I think one of the things that we definitely have seen, again, we've seen changes in stigma, we've seen changes in attitude, but certainly a lot of movement around men's mental health and the importance of talking about feelings and talking about some of these experiences and acknowledging some of these symptoms, because for so long it has really been, oh no, you suck it up and deal with it. Yeah. So even in terms of something like booking an appointment with your physician to go in, it's hard for anybody, really, and kudos for anyone who has taken this leap to book an appointment and go in and start the conversation saying, I think I might be depressed.
Or even to say, I don't feel the same, and I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah. But it's much easier for many people, but men in particular, to go in and say, you know what, I've been having a lot of issues with my stomach.
Yeah.
That, you hopefully will come to the same conclusion.
Yeah.
But it is amazing, even with some of that, improvement in terms of the stigma. Picking up the phone and booking a therapy appointment, picking up the phone and making the physician appointment, that's still a really big step for a lot of people.
I used to get cluster headaches, migraines, and I've been in the ER on intravenous medication for migraine, and I haven't had one since I started to treat anxiety, depression, and ADHD. So I never realized that till you said it. Okay, for those of us that aren't feeling great right now.
Yeah.
The weather sucks. We do not get a lot of vitamin D. It is cold. You can't get out and do the fun stuff that you want to do. It's hard to take your dog for a walk. Your kids are in the house all the time. It's dark at 5 o'clock. You're not getting vitamin D. These are all of this. No wonder you're grumpy.
This is, listen, January is a rough time. You're still recovering from all the holiday, both the excitement and the festivities, and the bills are coming in.
And the come down from that.
Yes.
Now
Yeah.
it's so quiet and dull, and I'm bored, and I was so happy yesterday, and today I'm so alone.
And we do not live in a place, unless hopefully you are someone who can appreciate those nice days, the snow when it's there, the winter sports, you know, that piece of things. So this is a period of time where a lot of people are feeling really down. They're just feeling unmotivated. They're kind of going, you know, I've come home, I'm not going to get out to go to the gym. I don't really even want to go and do the social thing I committed to. It's cold, it's dark. Really common experience for pretty much most of us, but it happens to varying degrees.
So
as
how
I
do
said
we
before, it's that
mitigate it?
severity. Yep.
Yeah, how do we mitigate those things? And is there really, and this is impossible, I know, is there like a really quick 25-second, here's how you know which one you're in? Kind of?
Little bit. So, people are familiar with the phrase seasonal affective disorder. We actually had it renamed a few years ago to depressive disorder with seasonal patterns, to reflect the fact that for about 2 to 6% of the population, this is a form of clinical depression. Symptoms consistently start in the fall.
So it validates it. It's real.
Oh yeah,
You're
it's
sick.
real.
See your doctor.
Yep, 2 to 6%. Like I say, and it happens every year. You start to feel the symptoms in the fall, and then in the spring you feel this sudden improvement. And if you look back historically, it's something that seems to happen every year, and to a degree, again, that it is really impairing.
Dr. Hubbard, thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for your advice. Thank you guys for watching. Find little ways to make things brighter. Get it? Vitamin D. We'll be right back after this.
Your